Whoa, this is the Illusion, reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth, driving down the hill. Gonna go look for some surf this morning. Been on a nice, if I surfed today, it'd be a 4-day run. God, there hasn't been waves in so long. It's like, it's amazing to be surfing again. Like, oh yeah, this is what we do. So, I was reading a comment and was talking about time. And I was thinking, I think a lot about like time. And I don't think about it in the sense of like traditional time. I'm very interested on perception of time. And how, like, depending on where you are in your life, your perception of time is totally different than somebody else's. So I have a buddy right now. He's in we put him in a rehab because he's spun himself off the map, right? So we put him in a rehab, and I went to talk to his mom the other day, and she was like, well, this and that. And I was like, look, man, is that dude's in a rehab where every day or every minute of every day seems like an eternity to this guy. And I go, you're going about your life where like your perception of a day is totally different. And I go, well, what? And I was explaining to her why his perception of time is totally different than her perception of time. And I was like, look, this guy's 50 years plus old. He's getting sober. He doesn't have any medicine, and he has a 50-year past he hasn't dealt with. A story he's carrying around with him that's 50 years long. So you take away the medicine, which are his drugs and alcohol. He's just sitting there in this like hellish time zone dealing with 50 years of his past because he hasn't made peace with it yet. And so this one day to this guy seems like months, because he was sitting there in the rehab talking about how much he wanted to get out, and they were like, well, you're not getting out till the 7th and this and that. And I was like, for us on the outside, like the 7th is like tomorrow. For this guy, the 7th is like a year from now. So based upon what's going on in our lives, like our perceptions of time is totally different. My perception of time at 48 years old, almost 49, is way different than my stepdaughter's perception of time at 13. Which is interesting because I have more time at this stage of my life than she perceives she has at 13 years of age. It's very interesting to like communicate with a young human about like time and what they think they can do and this and that. And so I think about time a lot because I'm one of those, like, I'll notice I can listen to like certain songs, especially some by the Grateful Dead and various other artists, where the music will be so deep and so involved, and I'll be in there and I'll look at the clock, like the timer on the music sometimes, and I'll be like 3 minutes into like a song, and I'll feel like I've been there for like endless times, infinite amount of time. And I find that to be very interesting, because if time's just a perception, and a lot of what I'm talking about on these videos is making contact with God and consciousness and realizing that you are ultimately a timeless, infinite consciousness, and that the only reason you feel limited is because you've been so convinced to think about the future and dwell upon the past. And if you can get present in this moment, in this very moment where God exists, that you're ultimately timeless. So that's a lot of like people who meditate understand this. that when they meditate, that all of a sudden they gain more time in their reality because they slowed themselves down enough to expand. It's this trippy thing. And so, you know, Einstein talks a lot about it, you know, how like the quicker, you know, you move, the closer you get to the speed of light, you know, blah, 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 the clocks change their speed. And I think about, okay, I trip on cars a lot because we're in cars all the time. So I'm going to go drive to Zuma Beach right now, which ultimately is about 8 miles. I'm going to zip there. It's going to take me about 8 minutes. Once upon a time, this journey probably, let's say you were walking on some primitive beach trail, would have taken, you know, 8 hours, maybe. It's probably not right. Human goes about 2 miles an hour. All right, so maybe take 4 hours. But then you were walking on the beach and maybe the tide was high, so you had to go inland and bushwhack. Maybe 8 hours, I don't know. What I'm getting at is, due to like our local motion, our ability to move around, we've actually can go like zip to these places, which is like, to me, a form of time travel. You talk to somebody from like 300 years ago about like, oh, you can just fly over the ocean in 8 hours, or, you know, over to Britain. No, it'd fly over 8 hours, when before it would take you, you know, a piece of mail would take a month to get there, another month to get back. And just so we can, and their lives were a lot shorter back in the day due to disease and all this stuff. So what they could accomplish in a life was very limited because of their ability to move through time and space. So here we are in the modern world where we can do so much with time and space, and yet we're stuck in this linear time concept of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, when I tend to think time is more localized. That time is right here, right now. And that there actually is no such thing as time. The more and more I move through time, space, right? So time's just a measurement of moving through space, time, space. And ultimately, if I know if when I get into the right state of being, time ceases to exist. It's very fascinating. Like I was checking it out the other day. So when I do my exercises, it takes me about 30 minutes. I don't dig it. It's a struggle for me, but I gotta do it, right? So that 30 minutes seems like it takes forever. I was doing this one exercise with my arms where I lift this weight, and it seems like it takes 1,000 years, man. It literally takes 2 minutes, right? It takes forever, this 2 minutes. But I can sit down and when the space is right, get into my art, hours will pass by. Just hours will pass by. And again, it's this thing where, like, I think time is based upon the activity of what's going on in our mind. And that we've been fully jacked by the Matrix. And through attachment, like, it's convinced us to attach to material possessions, ego thoughts, stories about our past, fears about our future, which take us out of the present moment. And when we're out of the present moment, all of a sudden, like, our time code shifts. And somewhere in there lies the answer to it all, is this perception of time. And I think that like one of the big perceptions of time is this thing that we've been convinced about life and death, and you only have so many minutes on this planet and all this kind of stuff, which I'll go is valid on a whole level. So don't waste your time. But again, it's based upon this goal, or not a goal, this end coming off in the future. So you're totally out of sync with the present moment, because I'm gonna die eventually. Like, interesting. And so something just totally tripped me out. Someone walking with a gas can. Do I go pick him up, take him to the gas station? Probably that's the right thing to do. I'm gonna have to turn around and I'm gonna go be of service to another human being walking with a gas can, dude. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing with my present moment, is stopping what I'm doing to see if this person needs a ride to the gas station, which is about another 1.5 miles. So their walk to the gas station is about to shift from 1.5 hours of their life to about 3 minutes, which again gets me very interested on the whole concept of time. All right, let's see what's going on. Hey, you need a ride to the gas station? All right, let me just turn around. Okay. Already fishy. Her car's right there. All right, dude. Let's end this video here on this note. It's got dogs and stuff. Drugs, man. So gnarly, dude. So this gal's got 2 little small dogs. She's walking from the way that wasn't the gas. So I'm like, so what, you're walking the wrong way to the gas station or what? And she's like, no, I decided to go check out the beach, man, and stash my can. So I'm like, all right. I get her in the thing, and she's like, which way's Long Beach? And Long Beach is like a ways south, and she's going north ultimately. And I'm like, no, it's that way. And she's like, so if I just, then her next comment is like, all the rich people live, she's from Michigan, she says. I'm from Michigan. All the rich people live down that way. And I'm like, yeah, you know. And she's like, I just followed this road down to Long Beach. And I'm like, well, I mean, theoretically, like, the pavement goes there, but it's not all this road. And then she starts talking about how swag Michigan is and how great it is here. And I was just like, this chick's so spun out right now. And I was like, I need her out of my car. Dropped her at the gas station. Like, if it had been like a relatively normal person, I would have driven them back to their car with their gas. But I was just like, this chick's out to lunch, man. I can't have this. It's that thing again, dude. Like, most people walking around with a gas can, there's something wrong with them, because unless I got a gauge in my car, it tells me when I'm about to run out of gas. And there's gas stations pretty much everywhere in a metro area. So I don't know, she drove right past a gas station with her car on empty, like It's drugs, man. Drugs are gnarly, dude. It's my theory. Like, yeah, you can run out of gas, dude. It happens to the best of us. And then again, the last time I ran out of gas was when I was drinking and using and being that guy. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't want to cast shade on everybody with the gas can walking down the side of the road, dude. Oh, my human encounter for the day. But whatever, man. Whatever. I stopped. I did my good deed for the day, dude. That's all that matters. The illusion out, man. Timelessness, dude. Oh, what's my sign off? I had a sign off going. Shoot, I forgot my sign off. Oh well, I'm signing off.